Look, we get it, Tiger fans. We know the baseball season can be a grind. Luckily, when you're ready to trade hot dogs for tailgates, we've got you covered with Litterbox, a Detroit Lions podcast. It's the same unfiltered Detroit sports talk you get here, just with more biting kneecaps and fewer bullpen meltdowns. So when Sunday rolls around, don't just pace around like AJ Hinch waiting for a reliever. Fire up Litterbox, a Detroit Lions podcast, wherever you're listening now, and roar with us through the NFL season.
Billy P. from the D and Chet here. Thank you all for listening to Litterbox, a Detroit Tigers podcast. If you enjoy the show, please make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. We love hearing your thoughts, too. Leave us a rating or just drop us a comment. Please let us know what you think and whatever you want us to cover next. Your feedback really helps us grow and keeps the Tigers talk rolling all season long. Go Tigers, and thank you.
You're listening to The Litterbox, a Detroit Tigers podcast, with your hosts, Chet West and Bill Patterson. Welcome back to The Litterbox, a Detroit Tigers podcast, American League Division Round Edition. And boy, do we have a few things to talk about that have surfaced from two very exciting games in Seattle, if not lacking offense at times. I think the Tigers have sort of met their match in the department of inconsistent offensive output. I think Seattle is a little different from our Tigers and that they rely on the power game. Our Tigers live on the edges, as we said earlier in the season, and that's when they succeed. We saw it a little bit in game one. We didn't see it so much in game two. Bill, what are you learning from these first two games of the ALDS that maybe we didn't pick up in the wild card?
Well, I think solidly the Tigers exhaled just getting past the Guardians, as we all thought they would. That was the worst matchup they could have had for that wild card series after playing that team 6 times.
100%.
Losing the division. And so now you face a Mariners team that the last time we played against them, we being the Tigers, was just before the All-Star break. And before that, it was the second series of the year. So one of the things that I'm really enjoying is it's fresh. And I also love that, though I wish the Tigers had won game 2. They won game 1 3-2. They lost game 2 3-2. But it was so refreshing to see the Seattle fans so engaged in their first playoff win in 20 years. And it was just neat because it's not Stephen Kwan and Ramirez just again.
It's not just
and
them
again.
burning us again and again. It's somebody else this time.
Yeah. And the teams are really built very similarly, Chet. The difference being that the Mariners were more aggressive at the trade deadline, but any team could have been more aggressive than the Tigers. So let's not punch that bag. My question to you is, why is this Tigers team allergic to advancing runners when they're in scoring position?
What has happened there? Because this was not the Tigers from the first half of the year. First half of the year, as we said, they lived on the edges. You know, they played the game on the edges. They took the extra base. They weren't stealing. They weren't swiping bags, but they definitely would stretch a single to a double, stretch a guy from first to third, get him into scoring position, and thus bring him home at that point. We seem to be lacking. When a guy gets to second or third, it's like the hitter presses way too much. It's almost like they know, like, I got to get this guy in. It's the playoffs and I got to. Are they not up to the moment? Or is it bad luck? Or is it just the ebb and flow of the game? Like, I was sitting here watching these guys come. I'm like, how could you do this 3 months ago and you can't do it now? It's very frustrating as a fan to watch this happen.
So a couple of things I think are happening.
Has the approach changed maybe?
Well, there's a couple things going on. Number one, this team strikes out way too much. It starts with their best player, Riley Green. And, you know, if you've looked at Dylan Dingler, who still had a remarkable season, he doesn't walk. And that's a huge issue because at this level, and when you're in the divisional round of the playoffs, which is awesome, you're going to face better pitching. And if they know you can't lay off some of their slop or some of their trickery, you're gonna do what Dingler did yesterday, which is look hapless against some Mariner pitching. And what I can't figure out is why this team isn't hitting sacrifice flies, or why, when there's a man on second and third, they hit a grounder to the shortstop. Like, why can they not try to
it's bad situational hitting too.
Yeah.
So they're not hitting behind the runner.
Yes.
They're hitting into so the other side of this is, I think they're young. We do have to remember how young and how little MLB experience most of this lineup has outside of Gleyber Torres and Javier Baez.
So if I can give, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I still say that Javier Baez was our MVP in the wild card round from a positional player.
I can accept that.
Scoobs was obviously the man, from a pitching standpoint. The other portion of that is I think the Tigers are playing better now because Torres is back in the leadoff spot.
Could be.
Even if he doesn't hit, which he doesn't, his power's gone. He seems very stubborn in his approach. But the one thing that Gleyber Torres has done all season, he takes pitches.
Yeah. And it's you've seen as the season goes on, our on-base percentage has started to dwindle. Our on-base percentage, our OPS have all started to drop off a little bit.
They don't walk.
Our patience has left the building.
Yeah.
I felt like we started the season off with more patience. And as the season's gone on, it's like they press and they press and they press to probably keep up with our expectations to some degree. I do think they're pressing a bit, and they're young. So being able to identify the situation and things of that, maybe they don't have that veteran presence. Now, I was watching the game with my wife last night, and she goes, "Who is this baby-faced little young guy?" And I sat there, he didn't say little, she said young. And I said, "Oh, that's Riley Green. He's one of the youngest players on the team, but he's also our star on the offensive side of the ball." And she was like, she goes, "He looks like he's 20 years old." I go, 24. I was like, "But you're not far off." And she sat there and said, "He strikes out a little too much. Like he hasn't developed his plate approach and his eye to its fullest yet." You got 3 years till this guy's at his peak. Okay. That's kind of an eternity if you think about it. And many of the other guys, Kerry Carpenter hasn't been in the majors that long. He's not as young, but he's been in the majors for the same duration of time that Riley Green has been in the majors. They were basically rookies same year. I think maybe one of them got a little cup of coffee before the other, but Dylan Dingler, less service time facing major league pitching.
This is his first full season in the major leagues.
So you're looking at this lineup. I go down the lineup. Colt Keith, second major league season. So it's Spencer Torkelson. He's probably been around the longest by about 1 year. I mean, Torque's been up there for about 3 or 4 years now. So you start looking across these guys. Parker Meadows, even less time.
Yes.
So you got a lineup that is not seasoned yet. We'll put it that way. They need more seasoning in these big moments. They need to understand.
It's not a finished product.
It's not a finished product. And I do think, like, you're going to hear the excuses. I think they'll be lesser now that we've made it to the division series, which in and of itself seems to be somewhat of a victory for this season, for this team. But because it didn't look like that was going to happen for a while to get this far. But you look at some of these guys and you're like, man, they really don't have the experience to fall back on. I mean, even Skubal, he's had 2.5 good seasons under his belt right now. Prior to 2.5 years ago, Skubal was not the pitcher he is now.
No,
he was so young and still developing.
And he was hurt.
And he was hurt. He had been hurt for a year or two when he first came out. So there is an aspect from a fan standpoint, as hard as it is to say it, we have to have a little patience. We have to have a little grace. But it's no less infuriating to watch it happen because you just want them to do it now because they're in the playoffs. 2 years in a row, division series. If they get past the division series this year, I will officially call the 2025 season a success.
I would as well.
I think it's almost they're getting to the division series. At least we didn't step back from last year. And I would say overall on the season, we had a better season. We just had a bad September.
They can't do what they did last season, which is go up 2-1 over the Mariners,
Yeah.
which would happen if they won Tuesday, and then lose the series like they did to the Guardians last year.
They really got to put this thing away in Detroit.
If they go up 2-1, and they did in terms of they took one of the two games in Seattle. So, now they have home field advantage.
You're right.
The problem is that yesterday's game was there for the taking, and it's unrealistic to expect Skubal to allow no earned runs every time he goes out.
Yeah.
He allowed two solo shots, and they were good hit balls. When you're throwing 100 miles an hour, guys are, if they connect, it's going out of the yard. It's just physics.
The number one thing in the playoffs that a team has to do is take advantage of an opportunity when it presents itself.
Exactly.
In the playoffs, letting an opportunity slide by, you don't know when you're going to get it again. You're playing good teams, good pitching, good offenses typically. You can't let it slide by. And this team let an opportunity or two slide by earlier in the game yesterday.
Yeah.
They were once again anemic with runners in scoring position, just like they were the previous night, but ended up pulling it through towards the end of the game. You're seeing some battles here. I mean, you got 1-run games, both games. I think they're emptying bullpens. I mean, it's crazy. Last night, or in game 1, the Tigers used 8 pitchers and the Mariners used 7. So this is a no-holds-barred situation for both teams now. You're seeing everybody gets to play. And they're throwing all sorts of things at the matchup wall, trying to figure out who can get who out. It's been fascinating to watch. I still don't know that we're up to it. If we make it to the ALCS, I'm going to tip my cap to this team because I think they will have overachieved to a degree for what they're throwing out there. Now, the problem everybody's basing this on is like Skubal's timeline because he's all-world ace pitcher, and everybody wants us to do something when we've got Skubal on the squad, and you only get one more season of him after this. And I think that's short-sighted to a degree. There's nothing to say that Troy Melton, who looked quite nice in game 1 and in other previous appearances in the season, and Reese Olson comes back healthy, let's hope, and you've got a couple pitchers that could come up and be the next Skubal, is what I'm saying. Not saying it's going to happen, just saying there's some potential there. So we'll see.
You brought up a really interesting point as well for the fact that you talk about Skubal really, it's a small sample size of how much excellence he's had.
Yeah.
Again, whoever signs him to this monster contract, and you and I firmly believe it will not be the Tigers. And I don't know that that's a bad thing because I don't know that what he's doing, Tarik Skubal, is sustainable long term. And it could be a flash in the pan. I mean,
history would tell you it's not sustainable.
Yeah, yeah. And we talk about the Tigers' young hitting. Keith Beauregard's the hitting coach. His age is 37. Which makes him young for a hitting coach.
I mean, young for a hitting coach.
Yeah. So
I want to bring another topic up here and just watching Seattle. All the trades they made at the deadline this past year, I'm not seeing too many of those guys show up and do anything in this series so far.
Suarez would not have been a great signing for us.
He's doing nothing. He would have added to our problems of striking out.
Exactly.
The guy's batting 220 something. I get it. He's got like 49 home runs. Okay.
Yeah, but how many of those
them were in the first half of the season?
That I think didn't the bulk of those happen when he was a Diamondback?
Yes.
So
I mean, we're letting Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodríguez beat us up right now.
That's fine. They're two of the best players in the game, and it's to be expected. I mean, limit their damage and go from there. So we are back at Comerica upcoming, and we will now have 3 games. Potentially. Hopefully it's only 2. How do you feel about the matchup between Jack Flaherty and Logan Gilbert, that is upcoming?
This is a tough one because Logan Gilbert's their Tarik Skubal. Okay. He's been lights out all season long.
He's
and
great.
Now we're getting him in game 3. And so the planning that they put into this to seed him in the middle kind of looks genius at this point. Flaherty can run with him if he's got his best stuff going, and that's a big if.
Flaherty pitched well last time out. He's had trouble consistently doing that this season. And then for game 4, it's interesting. It's to be decided for the Mariners, and we've got Casey Mize on the bump for the Tigers. So as much as I would love to say the Tigers take care of this at home, I think they've got their work cut out for them.
I think they do.
And I think it could be a 5-game series, which is what you initially said. Yes. I said Tigers in 4, but they did take the game in Seattle, so it's all there in front of them. This team plays so much better at Comerica Park because that's truly where they can utilize their best assets in terms of running the bases well and, slowing the game down to their speed and not relying, because they're not built to have a big bopper come up like Cal Raleigh and just clean the bases. It's not what they do. What they do is I'm doing the bones or the saw.
The bone thing. Saw. Yeah.
They hit doubles and they hit singles and they hit triples, and
a la Torkelson last night, pinning one down the first baseline and driving in 2 runs. I mean,
it was glorious.
Those are the things that they do to extend the game, to win the game. I did make one error. I want to take something back. I said we're letting Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodríguez beat us. I forgot to throw one guy in. The new Mr. October, Jorge Polanco, who apparently has Skubal's number. So Polanco's another guy we got to throw in there. They typically are in like the 2, 3, 4 in the order. And it scares me a little bit that he's heating up. We don't need Polanco heating up. He's had some good postseason success in the past. We need somebody on our side to step up. Kerry Carpenter could be the guy. He could be the guy. He just seems a little all or nothing at times at the plate. But maybe Dylan Dingler finds his stride here in the American League Division Series. Who do you want to see heat up a little bit coming home?
I think the biggest news that the Tigers have gotten is that we do have Colt Keith back, and I think that could be a difference. It's just another...
He's made a difference so far.
Solid batter.
Yeah.
And
he's an on-base percentage guy, too.
That is my pick to click, I think.
I like that.
These next 2 games.
I like that. I'm going with Dingler. You go with Colt.
And I think Carp's a good choice as well. And it seems like these last few games, Torque is seeing the ball quite well. So let's hope for that. So all hands on deck.
Sounds good.
Shout out I wanted to give was Brendan Hanafy has been pitching great. And he, for whatever reason, gives fits to this Mariners team. So I expect to see a healthy dose of him in these next 2 upcoming games as well. And on the other side of it, the Blue Jays did take both games at the Rogers Centers from the Yankees in fairly convincing fashion. I hope
what an interesting matchup that could be, huh?
Tigers.
I don't want to look ahead.
Tigers, Blue Jays. Oh boy, you don't have to tell me to get excited for that.
I don't want to look ahead, but boy, would that be more fun than the Yankees. I can tell you that much.
That's like a dream come true.
I would take their pitching staff over there. I would look forward to going up against those guys.
4.5 hours separate the 2 cities. Yeah. It would be a blast.
It'd be a fun one. But let's not count our chickens. Let's get through our. We got to win 2 games here in a row against Seattle.
Litterbox Tigers listeners, we appreciate the support. Please check out our sister podcast, the Detroit Lions Litterbox, and go Tigers.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Litterbox, a Detroit Tigers podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're Bill and Chet. We'll be back soon with more Tigers talk. If you're enjoying the show, be sure to follow or subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And hey, if you got a minute, leave us a quick review. Till next time, go Tigers.